Thank you for joining us. Today we have an update on the water main break. We'll be hearing from the Chief of the Calgary Emergency Management Agency, Sue Henry, General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson, and Mayor Jeremy Farkas. We'll hear the remarks and then there will be an opportunity to ask questions after. We'll ask that you please keep your questions limited to one question and one follow-up. And I'll now turn it over to Chief Sue Henry.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Sue Henry, the Chief of the Calgary Emergency Management Agency. I'm joined today by General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson, and Mayor Jeremy Farkas. We're here to provide an update on the Bearspaw South feeder main repair, the steps we're taking to protect nearby communities, and what we continue to need from all Calgarians right now. First, I'd like to talk about community protection. As we work to return the feeder main to service, we've implemented a community protection plan. This plan is focused on protecting the neighborhoods along the Bearspaw South feeder main and ensuring we're prepared in case of an additional break while the line is returning to service. Michael Thompson will give more details on these activities, including the mitigation measures already underway and what residents can expect in the days ahead. What's important for Calgarians to know right now is this. We're not waiting and we're not taking chances. Every decision we are making and every plan that we have is centered around protecting the community. While the community protection work is underway, we are still making good progress on bringing the Bearspaw South feeder main back into service. However, water saving still remains absolutely essential. Yesterday, water use was at 504 million litres. That's trending in the right direction. Thank you to all Calgarians and people in the surrounding community who are helping to save water. 504 million litres still means our system is under strain. Our goal remains to stay below 485 million litres per day. The total amount of water each person uses in a day is what is important. It is not the time of day that you use that water. This 485 million litres is the amount that our system needs to operate safely, refill overnight, and maintain our emergency reserves. To get there, we're continuing to ask everyone who relies on our water system to save 25 to 30 litres per person per day. Saving 25 to 30 litres a day looks like reducing the number of times you flush a toilet. Flushing even 3 fewer times a day can make a huge difference. Taking a shorter shower, even 1 minute shorter, can save 8 litres of water, and only running dishwashers and washing machines when they are completely full. This may seem like small everyday actions, and they are, but when 1.7 million people do them, the impact is incredible. Every litre saved helps keep water available for our homes, for our hospitals, and for emergency response like firefighting. I want to take a moment to address some of the most common questions that we are getting. First, we are asking, why should I conserve water when I don't live near the break? This break impacts all of us. If you live in Calgary, Tsuu'Tina Nation, Strathmore, Airdire, or Chestermere, this impacts you. Calgary's drinking water system is fully interconnected. Our treatment plants, our pipes, and all of our underground storage systems all work together as one interconnected system. Because the Bearspaw South feeder main is out of service, we're relying on the smaller Glenmore Water Treatment Plant to supply water to the entire city and surrounding communities. This is why conserving water matters, no matter where you live. Even if the break isn't in your neighborhood, the entire system is connected and it is under strain. When we all use less water, we reduce the strain on that system and give it the chance to recover. No matter what community you live in, when you turn on your tap, conservation needs to be at the top of your mind. Another question we've received is why haven't we issued an Alberta emergency alert? The Alberta Emergency Alert System has several different levels to it. Critical alerts interrupt TV, cell phone, and media and are reserved for times when there are immediate life safety threats. Non-broadcast intrusive alerts, which appear on the Alberta Emergency Alert website and in the Alberta Emergency Alert app, are used for less serious but immediate threats. Since December 30th, the City of Calgary has issued 2 non-broadcast intrusive alerts, one to alert residents about the boil water advisory and the other about the importance of saving water. While the current situation is serious, it does not necessitate a critical alert. The critical alert is a tool in our toolbox if there is an imminent life safety threat. When we make the call to issue a critical alert, it will be because we have an immediate crisis, something that is compounded onto what we currently have, and we need your absolute attention and immediate action. We continue to have that tool in our toolbox, and we need to save it for when we need to grab your attention and make sure you take urgent action. Please, if you haven't done so already, I encourage you to download the Alberta Emergency Alert app onto your phone, where you will also receive these non-broadcast intrusive alerts. We are also working very hard to reach Calgarians in many different ways. Since the start of the break, the city has been providing daily updates and encouraging water reduction through multiple channels. We've had regular media availabilities like this one, daily media updates, and there's great information on our website at calgary.ca/watermainbreak that is updated daily. We're posting multiple daily updates to social media. We have advertising online, on the radio, and through many locations in the city. Save water messages are on roadside signs, variable message boards, and on the front of our buses and on our transit platforms. We have also used our Garbage Day app to push our notices to those subscribers. And our outreach teams continue to hold pop-up information sessions at locations across the city, and we've reached out directly to our largest commercial water users to request that they limit their use. We have also leveraged all of the 54 partners of the Calgary Emergency Management Agency to amplify our message. Another question that we have been asked is, why aren't car washes being shut down? And this is a reasonable question. We learned a lot from our response in 2024, and this was one of them. Car washes are not high water users in the city, and up to 85% of the water they use is recycled on site for future washes. We've also communicated directly with the City of Calgary's fleet operations to ensure we're only washing city vehicles for safety purposes. And finally, why are we using more water than before, especially when comparing the experience to the 2024 water main break? The fact is that Calgary has grown. Since the last major feeder main break, our city has had a significant population increase, which increases daily demand on our system. More people means more water use, and during a disruption, that water use matters. It adds additional pressure. This is why conservation today is even more critical than it was before. Calgary, we still need your help. Every liter counts, every flush counts, every load of dishes and clothing counts, and every household can make a difference. If each of us saves 25 to 30 liters a day, we can maintain sustainable levels and protect our water system while this critical work continues. Thank you for stepping up. Calgary, this is the Calgary we know. I'll now turn it over to General Manager Michael Thompson.
Thank you, Chief Henry. My name is Michael Thompson, and I'm the General Manager of Infrastructure Services for the City of Calgary. I'd like to start today by providing an update on the repair site. We are making good progress on the repair work. City and contractor crews have completed backfilling the site, and we've started repairing the road above the pipe. Meanwhile, we have been slowly refilling the feeder main with water. This process takes several days for a number of reasons. First, it requires a lot of water. 7 kilometers of pipe were emptied, and refilling it takes approximately 22 million liters, or the equivalent of 9 Olympic swimming pools full of water. The water we are using to refill the pipe comes from the Bears Paw plant in the Bow River, and rather than the Glenmore Reservoir, so it isn't impacting the daily usage rates we have been sharing with you. Second, and more importantly, we are doing this very carefully to help us reduce the risk of another break. Once the pipe is refilled, we will be moving on to the testing of the water to make sure it's clean and safe to drink, meeting or exceeding regulatory standards from Alberta Health Services and Alberta Environment and Protected Areas. From there, we will stabilize the system, turning on pumps at the Bears Paw plant, which will increase pressure in the feeder main and start water flowing through our water system. When that is complete, and after the water system is stable, we will begin the process to ease out of water conservation. I want to be clear that each of these steps carries risk. The schedule can be impacted as we pause to make sure everything is proceeding as per plan, or more severely if we see another break in the pipe. As I've said before, we cannot guarantee that we will not have another break in the pipe. We are focused on returning the pipe to service as quickly and safely as possible. As you may have seen from our drone footage of the site, we've started repairing 16th Avenue and are preparing to repave it. This activity is happening at the same time as we work to return the pipe to service. If all goes well, 16th Avenue will be reopened mid to late next week. And as I've mentioned, we're being very cautious about returning the pipe to service and working to reduce the risks. As you've heard us say previously, in the event of another break, we are taking measures to protect the community. Removing 2 sections of the existing flood protection berm along Montgomery Boulevard Northwest. This berm was originally constructed to keep water out of the community in the event of a flood from the Bow River. If there was an unexpected break in the pipe, this berm would actually keep water in the community. So we are creating openings to allow the water to flow to the river in the event of an unexpected break in the pipe. We are also installing temporary barriers along the Bow River pathway near Parkdale Boulevard between 33rd and 30th Street Northwest. These barriers will direct water away from the community and towards the river in the event of an unexpected break in the pipe. Detours for both of these pathways will be put into place. Crews are clearing catch basins, opening river outflows, and replacing select manhole covers with ones that will allow water to drain more rapidly in the event of an unexpected break in the pipe. We are preparing to deploy temporary pumps quickly to remove water from low-lying areas if necessary. As I've said before, on December 30th, our understanding of this pipe changed, and we need to change the way that we are going to act in planning going forward. All to say, although we are not expecting the pipe to break, we are putting plans into effect in the event of another unexpected break. While this has been going on, in the Northeast, we are completing the return to service of the Memorial Drive and 52nd Street water main. This is a separate project that has been going on since the fall. We had filled the pipe with highly chlorinated water, which was then drained out. This was to make sure the water is safe to drink. It was necessary to complete this work to bring that section of water main back online after construction in December, allowing us to move water throughout the city more effectively. As the section of pipe is put back into service, people living in the area may notice a temporary drop in water pressure, a strong chlorine smell, or a cloudy appearance called turbidity. I want to assure anyone seeing this in their water that these changes are all normal and should pass within a couple of days of regular water use. The water is safe to drink, meeting or exceeding the regulatory standards I mentioned earlier. And while the repair of the Bearspaw South feeder main has been going on, we have also been carrying out a series of inspections which I've mentioned before. We've removed the broken segment of pipe and have been doing a forensic analysis on it. We have inspected the pipe in either direction of the broken pipe segment, and all of these inspections are part of the process to gather data which will inform our future repair work and help us identify the cause of this break. We're not out of the woods yet. Once we have returned the feeder main back to service, there is still a lot that needs to happen to make sure we can keep this critical feeder main functioning while we work on its replacement. We are planning additional pipe reinforcement work, which will be completed in the spring at the latest. The reason for waiting until the spring is because that is when the snow melt starts and the Elbow River flows into the Glenmore Reservoir are high enough that it can be refilled. There is a lot of work happening. We are focused on returning the pipe to service as quickly and safely as possible. We are planning ahead with contingency plans for potential setbacks in this repair, plans to address potential future breaks, and the plans to stop depending on this aging piece of infrastructure. I want to thank Calgarians for your continued support. we know that you do not want to be here. Just like you depend on the water, right now the water system depends on you. I'll now hand it over to Mayor Farkas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim Thompson, Chief Henry. I'm privileged to be joined here at the EOC by my council colleagues, Councillor Ewell, Councillor Pantzopoulos. And I should have mentioned that in our previous availability, Councillor Pantzopoulos was there as well. I want to start by thanking each and every Calgarian who has taken steps to reduce their water use as we finish these critical repairs on the Bears Paw feeder main. We all need to come together for just a little bit longer to reduce our water consumption so we can continue to support our crews in getting our system back online and fully operational. If each and every Calgarian kept their showers to 3 minutes and flushed their toilets just 3 times less per day, we would be out of the unsustainable zone. That alone would take significant strain off the Glenmore Water Treatment Plant and the reservoirs of treated water across our city. I also want to remind people why this matters. We need our water reservoirs to ensure we can supply emergency services like fire trucks and maintain adequate water pressure in our taps. I know that this is frustrating and inconvenient, but I want Calgarians to know that we are moving at lightning speed to get this pipe back online and to build a generational replacement that will solve this problem once and for all. I also want to be completely upfront and honest with Calgarians. We are not out of the woods yet. Once we are in a position to repressurize the pipe, there's still a risk of another failure. We are actively monitoring the system and are prepared to respond very quickly if that happens. But this will be the new reality until we can fully replace the full 6-kilometer pipe, which is terminally ill. City Council is currently looking at a number of options to improve governance, monitoring, and contingency planning within our water infrastructure system. We will explore every option and we will leave no stone unturned as we work to secure Calgary's future so that every Calgarian can be confident that there will be clean, safe, and reliable drinking water when they turn on their taps, flush their toilets, or take a shower. While these are things that may have been taken for granted in the past, they can no longer be. We will be vigilant, we will be proactive, and we will make the investments necessary so that this city can have Calgarians continue to depend on the essential services we rely on every day. Last but not least, I want to provide a big thank you to the people doing the work, to the crews out there in the cold, to the workers in the mud and trenches, to the engineers and operators watching the system every hour, to the emergency teams, inspectors, and planners making sure this is done safely, to city staff answering calls, updating the public, and helping neighbors get through the day. And on my personal behalf, a giant thank you to our incredible liaison officers who have been working across the various departments through the night, getting quick answers to members of council, to our mayor's office as well, to ensure that we can stay reliably providing Calgarians with the critical updates that they require. Many of these are folks who have been working long days and very long nights. They've missed time with their families. They've been doing a lot under a lot of pressure, and they have kept showing up because they care about Calgary. They are working hard to keep water running in the city, and they deserve our support and our respect. So Calgary, let's please keep doing our part. Keep saving water for just a few more days. We're not out of the woods yet, but we are making progress, and we are going to get through this together. Thank you, and we're happy to answer any of your questions.
Your worship, how much longer do you think we'll have to be living under these conservation measures?
So in the short term, it's a couple more days to complete the filling of the pipe in this short-term repair. But I want to be crystal clear and transparent with Calgarians that this is the new reality that we're facing. With more proactive measures in the fall and the spring to bring this pipe offline, that'll require more water conservation measures at that time. And there is no guarantee that next week, next month, or next year that this pipe will not continue to break. So we need to accelerate the replacement of the pipe as well as the larger governance actions as mentioned in the Kiefer report. So in the short term, this is such a critical phase of this repair. We are not out of the woods yet. This is a really critical time. So we ought to rally for just a few more days to be able to support our front line to action this repair. But in the go forward for the next 12 to 24 months, this pipe is sick. It could continue to break and we could continue to face those immediate repairs, and we're going to continue to have to rally as a community to support our work.
idea when, even roughly, when these immediate measures, just for now, will come off?
So I'll ask GM Thompson to weigh in on the exact schedule of this repair.
Thanks for the question. So the question is, when can we start to ease the current water conservation? And we are hopeful that that will be early next week. As I mentioned, we're currently in the process of filling the pipe. It takes almost 22 million liters of water to fill it, equivalent of 9 Olympic swimming pools full of water. We then need to test the quality of water in the pipe, ensure it's safe to drink, and then return it to service by turning on those pumps at the Bearspaw plant and bringing it on. As we do that, there's no guarantee that we will not find another break in the pipe. And so we are going to do this very slowly and carefully as we work to restore service back. So our current schedule is early next week to have that work completed, and we will be updating Calgarians every step of the way.
We've been in as far as water use, we've been in the red zone now for pretty much a week. And the conservation measures that are being asked of us, they don't really seem all that onerous. Are you disappointed at all with some Calgarians and how they're responding to this?
Well, I'm really thankful to Calgarians for stepping up in such a big way to make very simple, straightforward changes to daily routine. Look, when we think about things like keeping showers to 3 minutes, to flushing a few times less per day, to waiting until laundry and dishes are full before running those machines, these are very small asks, very small changes to routine that if you times that by 500,000 households, plus when you think about the Calgary region, these necessary actions will get us to where we need to be. Right now, we're in a race against time. The Glenmore Reservoir, the amount of water in it is drawing down. We have a very limited amount of contingency, and this is very much a battery that charges up in the spring and fall months. With the amount that we have in that reservoir going into the winter has to last us through the whole winter. So we're going to continue to be able to get the word out, to be able to support Calgarians, support businesses, or work with our largest industrial users. But I know that this has been an incredibly frustrating situation to be in for a second time, let alone a first time. We got to push hard for just a couple more days here. We're not out of the woods yet. This is the riskiest, most critical moment of the repair, and we need to step up in a big way to be able to support essentially, firstly, our frontline crews who are in the trenches doing the work, but also our first responders. We need to make sure that our Calgary Fire Department has the resources that they need, namely the flowing water to be able to respond to those emergency life-saving calls.
Yeah, I was speaking to Calgarians this morning. There was a few who were completely unaware we were under water restrictions, a couple who just found out. Just curious, is there anything else that you can do to get that message out there?
I'll begin to answer the question about ways that we've been reaching out to Calgarians, but maybe I'll ask Chief Henry to jump in. We want to firstly thank the media. I know that during the holiday season, it's very difficult to get out the message out to Calgarians, many of whom are just returning from travels and whatnot. So we've been getting out the message out through social media as well, through non-traditional channels, through print, television, a lot of door knocking, as well as stand-up opportunities in person with Calgarians. But we're asking Calgarians to help us, step up, please help us through word of mouth and other measures. And I'll ask Chief Henry to weigh in as well.
So we are using a number of different techniques that we have in terms of social media, in terms of leveraging our partners, our garbage app, signs on our buses, signs on our variable messaging board. And I would ask Calgarians to help us get that out. Go talk to your neighbor. Make sure that your neighbor is aware. Talk to your friends. Talk to your community. Put posts on your social media and really help us to get that message out.
There's been a lot of those proactive measures being put into place, whether it's the flood mitigations along Parkdale Boulevard and other spots along the Bow. I guess, you talk about this pipe being terminally ill. Do we have maybe not completely accurate, but at least a guess at how likely another break is once the Bearspaw feeder main is brought back online?
So what I can tell you is on December 30th, the way we are thinking about and looking at this pipe changed. We were expecting to hear wire snaps through the monitoring system that we had, and we did not hear that. And so how we treat this pipe and how we plan around this pipe has changed going forward. That's why we will be back in the spring at the latest to do additional reinforcements around this pipe to reduce the risk as we go forward. But as we've said, we can't guarantee that this pipe will not break again. And that's why the long-term fix is to accelerate the project to install that replacement pipe. And that's what we're focused on right now. Three things: repairing this existing one, this existing break. The second, preparing for those urgent reinforcement projects going forward. And the third thing is the acceleration of that replacement pipe.
And then so, I guess, based on that answer, you know, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and just trying to get these reinforcements in place before that when takes place.
We cannot guarantee that the pipe will not break again, but we are taking all of the actions that we can to be ready if it should break and to reduce the probability that it could break in the future.
And Mayor Farkas, a handful of other councillors on social media, you know, seem to be putting out a message of the blame game. You know, who's at fault for this break taking place? Do you think this is a constructive use of fellow councillors' time? You know, rather than encouraging their constituents to be saving water, they're looking for someone to, you know, point the finger at and say this is their fault.
Well, I want to thank my council colleagues who have engaged over the holidays to help us get out the word. We've been working together as one team Calgary, not just City Council, but administration, our emergency response folks, our frontline crews, the support infrastructure, communications, all of the rest. This is a very challenging and frustrating time. We had the opportunity as part of the special meeting that I called to unanimously advance the recommendations of the Kiefer report, which really speaks to the larger questions around governance, accountability, ensuring that this doesn't happen again. But make no mistake, on this issue, I am personally responsible. Our city council is personally responsible. We are working at lightning speed to advance the replacement pipe, to implement the recommendations of the external report. If you're looking for accountability, the buck stops with us. We are taking the needed actions here and now to solve this, not just for next week or next month, but to solve Calgary's water system with a generational fix for the next 100 years. So this is the work that we are focused on. We are not looking toward the past. We are looking toward the future in terms of how we fix this once and all for Calgarians.
Any other questions?
And this is probably a question for GM Thompson. Does this water, this feeder main, run underneath the Bow River by at Shoaldice? And if it does, I mean, if it ruptures there, what do you do?
So the question is, where does this feeder main run from? And so it does cross the Bow River in a couple of locations. And we have plans in place about how we would repair the pipe if it ruptures in critical locations like that. That was all part of the desktop planning that we did after the rupture in 2024. We looked at critical areas and developed plans about how we would go in and repair that in those critical areas.
So it does run under the
This pipe, as it leaves the Bears Paw Water Treatment Plant, crosses the river a number of times.
All right, thank you for coming, and you can reach out to Media Relations if